Hello and welcome back to the Vintage Unicorn Beauty Makeup and etc. Today we are definitely in the makeup kind of world. I am talking about the one, the only, the brand new Kat Von D Dagger Liner and how to get a really huge cat eye, plotting it out, that inner corner that is ever so elusive, and actually how to like plot it out, or at least how I do it, how I like to like plot the symmetry so this and that line up perfectly. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys find it informative. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'll hang on while you do it if you want. It's down there. And if you are not already following me on Instagram, be sure and do that. I show some cool stuff, you know, cats and makeup and all the good things in life, right? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you guys maybe learn or enjoy or both, and thank you so much. I'll see you on this side. Mwah. So I'm a little nervous. I have had the Dagger Liner since about a week and a half before it came out. I want to say I got it on like August 12th-ish because I went to Sephora and they had it in a bundle with a mini tattoo liner. So I started practicing with the mini and it is so cool. And so I've definitely implemented it into like my everyday routine, and I don't know what I've done all my life without it. I don't know what I've done all my life without the lash liner, and I kind of wanted to answer some questions that some people had about the product, as well as show a tutorial on how to get a really fierce cat eye, especially with that inner corner. I love that, and it's really, I don't see a lot on YouTube about how to do it, or like how to line it up, how to tell with your eye, so I kind of, I guess, determined my own method, and it works for me, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Real quick, I'm just gonna buff a little bit of the Kat Von D Lock It 24-Hour Foundation. Is that it? I'm sorry. The Kat Von D Lock It Foundation. There was a different one, but I'm just gonna kind of work that into the skin. This is mostly, I mean, this is entirely an eye tutorial. I just want there to be a nice base for the eyes to go off of. Now, realistically, this base is probably going to get torn apart while I'm doing my eyeliner, but I still want it to be there. So to do my brows today, I want my brows to really complement the like ferocious angle of my eyeliner. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my 24-hour super brow in walnut, but first thing I want to do is brush my actual brow hairs, which are growing, as much into a straight line as I can. Instead of doing my normal, you know, geometric arch, I kind of want to go for a little bit of a more, I am going for kind of a Suzy Sue feel, and a lot of these techniques I learned from watching Pixie Woo. They did one on Suzy Sue and it was so cool. So I am going to go over in walnut and I'm going to do a very straight line, and then if it's not dark enough, I'll add black eyeshadow. I just don't want to use a black product on my brows because from there's kind of no going back. I usually like to save the Kat Von D angled brow brush for like super special occasions. It's the number 70, and also it's not the brush I do my my brows with every day. I usually use a Morphe, but I don't know where it is. It's like missing in that little brush collection you guys have seen. But if you look, it is slightly larger. So for the effect I am trying to go for, where there's not really an arch, it's just kind of a straight punk rock brow, I think this brush will do really well. So I'm just going to get it nice and coated. Not too thick, but get a nice coating, wiping off the excess residue in the cap, and I'm just going to go in on the bottom. I want to draw out that bottom, and if I need to, connect to the top through the bottom. And I want this to be blocky. I want it to be over the top. In fact, I want this corner to be inward a little because that'll pull my entire eye up. So I want to just go straight up, and instead of right here where I would usually come down, I want to go just a little bit further out. And some of my brow hairs aren't going to cooperate, but that's okay. So I'm doing a super stark up brow, and because of the angle of my face, it will end up looking like it's curved, but it is certainly not. It is definitely a straight across kind of deal, and there's actually very little product on my brow. I used one little dip, and I'm still working with it. And my goal right now is to just get it as straight and lined up as possible, and possibly I might need to use some concealer or something to hide those other brow hairs so I can pull off the very, you know, straight across Suzy Sue kind of brow. Now this isn't a Suzy Sue look per se, but I feel like, you know, showing the Dagger Liner and everything it can do, I mean, it can do anything from a small kitten wing to something huge and crazy like this. I mean, it's there. So I thought going for the Suzy brow would really pull together what I have in my head. So I'm going to continue trying to fill this in and getting it as sharp and pointed and out as I can. And when I have them matched, I will be back. For those of you OGs on my channel, when you remember when I was using OverTone all the time and I had like the most stark red hair, this is probably one of my favorite hair pieces, but it got slightly dyed along the edge, just I guess from, you know, natural sweat and everything. But I do also want to take that moment, because I'm mentioning the OverTone, to mention that I am doing a giveaway. I'm giving away not one, but 2 full OverTone sets in the color Extreme Red. So that is if your color is maybe like an ashy blonde or anything from like a 5 down, your hair will pretty much turn bright red, and you'll be able to maintain it with a very nice color depositing conditioner that is also very nourishing and nice for your hair. If your hair is darker than that, it'll add a beautiful red tint. So 2 of those, they are going to be given away in, let's say, 20 days. So 20 days from when this video goes live, I'll be announcing 2 winners, and that is the full box from OverTone in Extreme Red, featuring the full size daily conditioner, the full size deep treatment, and it also comes with a travel size daily conditioner. So I moved the camera a little closer so that we can look at my eyes and we can really discuss the liner. So at first I wanted to discuss the Dagger Liner. It comes in this beautiful little packaging with the dagger writing by Kat Von D and the cute little dagger embossing. It is 0.55 milliliters, so just over half a milliliter, which translates to about 0.2 fluid ounces, 0.19 fluid ounces. It is a waterproof liquid eyeliner. It is fiercely angled. Do not store this upside down. I store my tattoo liners upside down because they are both brush tips, and this one tends to skip if I don't do that. This one, I tried it and it was like saturated with ink. So I'm just going to show you for a moment. I love that from the packaging, as you see, it all has this taper, and it reminded me a lot of calligraphy because my mother taught me calligraphy. Oops, sorry. My mother taught me calligraphy. It was a requirement in her boarding school in South Africa, so I needed to learn it. And looking at that immediately, that is a calligraphy brush if I have ever seen one, which is so cool to be using for eyeliner. The only thing I will say is be very careful how you are applying it, because let's say you turn it all, then you will not have quite a clean line. In fact, I will show on the back of my hands, or I know my hands are all torn up. So as you see right now, I have it perfectly, and I got some on my finger. Anyway. So as you see right here, that is the flat side, and it will give you a very thick line as opposed to the thin side, which gives you a very fine line. So that is what we are going to do to create the most crazy, enormous Susie and the Banshees and then some kind of cat eye. Having my eyebrows out like this really has created a great deal of space. So the normal way that I do my liquid liner isn't quite gonna work. I'm gonna have to change the angle ever so slightly. And I also wanna remember that I wanna do some inner corner work, and I don't want there to be a huge like circular raise over my lid right here, over my lash line. I want there to be quite a clean cut going straight like this. So I'm just going to plot out those points basically using the tattoo liner. So I know that this is my waterline. I probably want the, let me see how I want this angle. I want to carry it straight through. So I am literally just going to touch it to my eye like that. So there I have the slightest little dot. I'm just going to darken it, telling me exactly where I am going to carry the line through. Now, following that through, that will be the end of my line right there. So I'm trying to be very gentle because I don't want there to be like crazy dots and everything. So now it's basically just fill in the dots, and that is where the dagger liner is going to come in. So I see where I put my little dot, and using the dagger liner, using a Kat Von D technique, this is literally how I learned to do eyeliner. I just want to take my bottom lash line and meet it with that. So lining it up, it's going to be at approximately that angle, and that way it will fill through. And actually I could probably make it even at a higher angle because I am going to include my lower lash line in this. So all I'm going to do is draw and connect the dots. So there that is. It is a very high, very sharp point, and in there it is basically just going to be, like I said, connecting the dots. Now this is literally how easy it is. Taking from the very sharp point, I'm going to draw it back in on itself ever so slightly and then start veering away. All right, I need the mirror for this, but it is working. It's almost like a kitten wing right now, so I'm gonna have to elongate it a little bit. So I'm gonna continue drawing down, making sure that I'm using the tapered end. Anytime I do cat liner, I don't want to do it through the entirety of my lid. I want to cut it right about there. That way I don't have, you know, anything that's going to make my eyes look smaller, because at the end of the day I want to elongate my eye, and this is actually lifting my eye a little bit. So we're going to go with that. I wanted a little bit more of an outer wing, but you know what? I plotted the lines. It is what it is, so we're going to keep going. And I'm going to do one eye at a time and probably fill the other one in off camera. So let's just keep going. From here, this is a hard part for me. This is very difficult, is doing that inner corner work. So basically what I want to do is I want to work on that band right in there and just make sure that it's black and that this connects to this. This is not an eyeliner that you can go backwards with. I will say that. As opposed to most liners where you can go nah, 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 nah. This is a one direction liner. So I am just going to slowly and carefully build up until I have met up with that line, and anything that I need to, I will clean up at a later time. So now I have the general shape for my cat eye. And now I'm just going to fill in any spots that don't have liner. So I'm going to continue filling this shape in, and then we're going to work on the inner corner. So there we have eye one. As far as the top line, a very large cat eye. So I know that symmetry is an issue for me. It's difficult to make the wings look the same. So I want to show a little bit of a trick. Just like I drew through my eye on this one to reach from point to inner corner like that, I want to do the same on this eye. So looking at that, let me see, what angle is that? All right, so just approximating, I'm going to draw a couple of dots to see if I can exactly guess. And from what I saw, I'm thinking right about here is going to be the perfect place for it to meet up. Now, the way to check that, look at my brow hair. The way to check that is to turn my head up and see that is about right. So it looks totally crazy because there is no makeup on this eye. I also want to draw that similar dot that shows exactly where it's going through my eye, and that'll tell me for sure whether or not I have symmetry. I'm sorry, I'm doing this in the mirror, so it might look a little crazy on the viewfinder. So right there, and that does look fairly symmetrical. It does look like it's going through correctly. So again, I am going to draw the upward flick using the dagger liner and carry through. So to clean up a little bit, obviously the eyeliner is the star of the show. However, I do want to add a little bit of pigment to just give that extra pow. So I'm taking my NARS Creamy Concealer, just because it's in a pot, and any kind of little flat brush, just to really clean this up and make it super sharp. I'm also going to sharpen up the ticks right here. I call them the ticks, I don't know. And that will give me, I'm not going for a cut crease, but more so just a cleaned up area, and then I want to blend this out so it's gone, because I want to add a nice bright pigment behind that. And I'm still thinking of the color, but I'm going to continue cleaning that up and buffing it out, and this will give a really nice kind of base for that pigment I choose to pop. Going back to an oldie but goodie, my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette, the Kat Von D Pastel Goth. My favorite. I love this palette. And I'm just going to grab a large flat shadow brush, because this isn't going to be like super intricate shadow work. It's just going to be there as an accentuation. So it's reasonably thick, very wide, and I'm going to offset it with a nice muted pastel. And instead of going for the yellow, I actually am thinking of going either for the green or the pink. Now, the color Meow is one of my favorite colors. When I swatch it, it is absolutely beautiful, and I want to really make that pop, so I think that concealer is really going to help. So I'm going to start with Meow, and I'm going to get the brush nice and coated and basically just fill it in right in the crease. I'm going to continue packing that in until there's a nice layer of it all along where I did that work within that crease. So this might take just a little bit because I don't want to smudge or mess up anything, particularly the concealer. which should be set, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna take that color Meow again and pat it into the eye. And this is gonna take a minute, so I'll be right back. So I went ahead and finished off the rest of my face. I just buffed that color Meow onto my lids, really simple, just boom, 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 very quickly. Then I added a little bit of finishing powder, contour. I want to keep this look very matte. I just want the eyes to kind of stand out, but I do want to do a lovely lip color. So I'm thinking, what better to go with this vampy look than a true red, and this is the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Nosferatu. So I'm going to apply that, but first I want to apply just a little bit of a treatment to my lips. They're feeling a little bit dry, and this is the BKR Water Gloss, and it's a treatment, but it is one of the only products I've found that you can put a liquid lipstick directly over and it won't make some kind of weird result, you know? So I hope this was helpful, or at least entertaining in some way, learning about the Kat Von D Dagger Liner, how much I love it, how many of them I have, because this is an essential moment kind of thing, and I can't wait till the inkwell comes out. So definitely keep your eye out for it. If you can get it, it is a must-have, and it is so easy to create huge, crazy, sharp wings. I am gonna just fill this in. And see, it goes right over that gloss super well. Once that's out, I don't think I'm gonna rebuy it because it's extremely expensive, but it's a lovely product. I think it came in a boxy charm. Not sure. Can't forget those Cupid's bow, that Cupid bow. I learned a technique on katvond.com where when you're coming along the downside of the mouth, instead of using the doe foot applicator flat, turning it diagonally. And then I just did something you're not supposed to do with this lipstick, which is rub your lips together. All right, so this is a super quick drying formula, so it should be dry in just a second. So, all right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry I haven't been uploading as much, but believe me, it is going to keep on coming. Also, don't forget to follow me on my Instagram. I do tend to do a lot of like stories and just that kind of stuff. I will link all that below. Also, check out my Posh Closet. I'm really cleaning out this house, including makeup. So if you want to get something cool, remember that, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Join the ARC right now, please. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Mwah.